With the S23 line of phones just around the corner, perhaps as early as February 1st, it feels as though the fire hose of leaks has been fully opened and we know just about everything there is to know about these devices. In this video, I'm going to try to bring all of that together as much as I can. We're going to look at these phones, look at the colors, the design, as well as, yes, indeed, some photo samples from the S23 Ultra. There's a lot to cover here. So let's jump into this Twitter thread that I organized everything in now. So the first thing, the place we're going to start is this post on slashleaks.com. I'm going to put a link to this thread in the description so you can go look at all this. I've got everything sourced out in there. So click on that to see all this stuff firsthand on your own screen as opposed to what I'm doing here. So let's go to /leaks now, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. There are videos of someone handling the thing, unboxing the thing. Apparently, these are coming from Nicaragua, which I guess in some way these phones are there. They're being processed there or boxed up, or I don't know exactly what's going on, what part of the supply chain takes place in Nicaragua. The people there are taking them out of the boxes, filming them, taking photos, and posting them online. So let's play this video with the music muted because it was quite loud. And you can see what we have here. This is the S23 Ultra, and it does look very, very similar to the S22 Ultra, very similar to what we would be expecting to see. You saw the S Pen down there at the bottom. Really, really similar design to what we've already seen. This color we'll get a better look at here in a moment, and there is another video here, which we will also mute as we go through. And in this video, you can see somebody just using that zoom. You know, we're going to zoom in 100 times to zoom in on this landmark up here on the hill, this very large cross. And you can see that he does zoom in a full 100x. So that's not super duper shocking. We knew that was a thing it was going to be able to do. But the cool thing, though, is that there you go. There's the S23 Ultra in somebody's hand being used. Let's close out of that and let's scroll down here. We have a lot of promotional imagery, right? Here's the S23 and the S23 Plus. A couple of the colors to be seen here. Again, we're going to take a closer look at these colors later, so don't worry. We'll go over these in a bit more detail. But this is, like I said, some official promotional imagery of the S23 and the 23 Plus. And you can see here, we have changed the design of the camera bumps to match that of the Ultra line from before. We used to have one big bump. Now they're individual bumps. This is going to be an aesthetic change that you're either going to like or you're going to dislike. I think it looks fine. Kind of reminds me of what LG was doing before their untimely demise. This is, of course, the 23 Ultra. Very, very similar. We pretty much just saw the thing. So let's keep moving on that. Some more promotional imagery from Snoopy Tech. And this is one of those, which we have the S23 Ultra here, the buds, the watch, the whole thing there. Let's go into his tweet here, and he's got several more. So the S23 Siri, I guess he probably paused this before the S. Maybe it was like typing out the letters. And you can see all three devices there. If we scroll down a bit, here's another one showing this lady filming something, you know, a concert with her. That looks to be the Ultra device, very squared off. That's one I just showed you. Here's another one of the Ultra. Hey, it's rugged, I guess. We're going to go climb a mountain with it, with our watch and so forth and so on. And then here's the S23 Plus. Same thing, right? You got your lilac, you got your buds, you got your watch looking very, very nice. Let's go back. And here is a picture of those colors all sitting on top of their individual boxes. We have a black color, sort of a greenish kind of color, a cream color, and a lilac color, and I think that we have the names here. So Cotton Flower, Misty Lilac, Botanic Green, and Phantom Black, and here they are a bit clearer on the S23 Ultra, as well as on the S23 of some sort, whether that's the normal or the Plus. I have no way of knowing because I can't really tell the scale from there. Personally, I think these pastels are a little bit boring. If I was going to be buying one of these, I guess I'd probably just go with black. My wife might like the lilac, but the rest of them aren't really all that interesting to me. But, you know, maybe you see something that you like there. I do wish that burgundy color was still around, and maybe it'll pop up as like a promotional thing later on. Hard to say, but right now, a little bit lukewarm on these colors. Let's go back here, and here I have a table put together showing off the specs, and I'll leave them on the screen here for a while as I kind of talk. Nothing super shocking in any of these. It's pretty much what we would expect to see. The biggest thing here is that the Ultra is using a 200 megapixel camera for the primary, and that is rumored to be the ISOCELL HP2. This is a new version of what they've been using for a little while now that was a 108. Well, now it is a 200 megapixel sensor. We're not going to deep dive into that sensor in this video. Just know that it is coming, and apparently it is absolutely massive in terms of its resolution. We're keeping the 10x telephoto, the 3x telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide. You can see all this on the screen here. Nothing too shocking with any of these. However, we do have some photo samples. So Ice Universe has posted a few that he got from another Twitter user who we will credit here in just a moment. This is a picture using that 200 megapixel sensor. Of course, it's going to be binned down to 12 megapixels. And I think, look, this looks like a Samsung photo, right? The contrast is very high. It is colorful, and it looks very, very nice. Nothing really to complain about there. We crop in to look at these leaves, and it's detailed and pretty. It's a good camera. You know, this should shock no one. The S23 was the S22 is a good camera. 23 is going to be a good camera as well. I don't know if this is with the ultra wide. It's possible. I don't see a lot of distortion on the edges, so it could just be the standard. Hard to tell without a comparison, but again, a lot of colors. Contrast looks okay. Sky looks good. Again, we're going to crop in, and I think this still looks okay. We're losing a little bit of detail with that crop, which makes me think it could be the ultra wide, but either way, still looking pretty solid. And let's go back and go to the next one, where this individual, let me just actually go in his profile here so you can see what we're talking about. He has tweeted the unboxing videos, and he has been taking lots of pictures with the S23 Ultra. So presumably this individual, who is just out there with his full name on Twitter, good luck to you, buddy, is posting pictures from an S23 Ultra, is what it is. So let's look at some of these here. This is with your standard. We've zoomed in further, and presumably this is 100x. That's, you know, as incredible as it ever was. Using some sort of night mode, we got some stars in the sky, and the night mode to brighten things up. Presumably this was very, very dark, so doing a pretty good job of pulling the brightness up there. We'll point out, look how bright those stars are, right? Like, this is, I think, in an area that is much dimmer at night than places where a lot of us live, places where I live, where the stars are just not that easy to see with the naked eye. So that is actually kind of cool. More night mode photography here. There's normal, and then night mode boosting things up. Looks pretty good. Does a good job of brightening things. Although, in my mind, I think Samsung does sometimes brighten things too much. It really stops looking like nighttime, which is a bit of a problem for me, but there you go. And here he has some more zoom samples. So this is a picture we've already seen, but we're going to zoom in, and I think that shot looks really, really nice. I love the contrast in it. Punching it even further looks really, really good. And then all the way in, that's just ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of detail when we've zoomed in that far. Really, really impressive stuff. There's something I actually left off here. So on Weibo, Ice Universe also posted this, talking about how the portrait video can now do 4K 30 FPS, and apparently the background separation is going to be better. So evidently some sort of improvements to their portrait video. It also says heat dissipation is apparently going to be under control a little bit better. Of course, these are running, I did not directly call this out, they are running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So this is, you know, going to be a very, very fast phone. And of course, this thing is launching presumably on February 1st. So we're going to learn everything there is to learn about these devices. I'm going to drop a link down below. You can click on this link and you can reserve your phone now ahead of time. If you reserve the smartphone, they're going to give you $50 in Samsung credit, right? So when you buy the phone, $50 to buy a case or whatever you want to do. If you reserve a Galaxy Book, they're going to give you $50 as well. If you reserve both, $100 to tack on to whatever you're doing. Now, this is not $100 to put towards the purchase of the phone and the laptop. Keep in mind, this is money towards accessories, so forth and so on. So there are a ton of details there about the S23 line. We'll be talking about this more as we get closer and closer to launch. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more stuff like this. Like I said, all of this stuff linked in the description down below. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.